Okay, today we're starting a new section. This is section 4.2, and the topic is ratios. So ratios are a little bit different than what we did last week. A ratio is a comparison of two or more things whose units are the same type. Okay, this doesn't mean we're comparing the exact same thing. For example, cars and trucks are both vehicles, cats and dogs are both animals, children and adults are both humans. So the overall category that you're discussing has to be the same, but within that category you could break it down differently. All right, this is different from section 4.1. 4.1 we studied rates. Okay, rates, here we are right here. A rate is a comparison of two things that are not the same unit. So rates do not have the same unit. And here are two examples. Miles per hour. Miles and hours don't have anything to do with each other. Same thing here. Beats per minute, like your heart rate, for example. Beats per minute has nothing to do with each other. A ratio must be reduced. Now that is very, very, very important. You have to reduce all ratios. And ratios can be rewritten one of three ways. These are your options right here. You can say 2 cats to 3 dogs, 2 cats to 3 dogs with a colon, or 2 cats to 3 dogs. Now, another way to write that fraction would be like 2 over 3. That's another way to say that. But you would still write it. If you were to write it out, it would say 2 and then 2, T-O, 3. Okay, so those are 3 different ways to write a ratio, and they all mean the exact same thing. Let's start with an example. The ratio of men to women. Now, the answer has to go in the order that the problem was stated. So right here, men came first. 2 means you're going to put a colon. You could put a fraction. You could put the word. And then women came second. So when I plug these numbers in, I have to put them in the order that I was given it. So men would be 12 because that came first. And women would be 15. Now, before I write it, I need to reduce. So these can both be reduced by, let's see, 3. Okay, we're going to divide each of these terms by 3. And my new ratio, 12 divided by 3 is 4, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. So there is one of the ways that I can write this ratio. Another way is I can just write that in words, 4 to 5. That would be another way to write it. So there's option number 2. And option number 3 would be write it as a fraction, 4 to 5. No matter how you write a ratio, you're going to use the word to in between your numbers. Now, every once in a while, you can write a ratio with more than 2 things. We don't do a lot of that, but I did want to show you one example. So if you look at this example, the ratio of police officers to firemen to ambulance drivers is 24 to 16 to 12. Okay, so the only difference here is that we have 3 numbers instead of 2. So the first number would be police. This is police. The second number would be firemen. And the third number would be ambulance, because your numbers go in the order of your word. Reduce this ratio. Okay, again, all of these can be reduced by 4. So if I reduce it, 24 divided by 4 is 6, 16 divided by 4 is 4, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. Make sure you keep the same order of the digits. You're just reducing. Okay, how do we solve a ratio? A ratio is very much like a proportion. Now, if you remember last week, we solved proportions, and that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to rewrite this 2 over 5 equals 14 over x. I do not know what this number is right here. This is going to be my x. That's what I'm trying to solve for. And this is a proportion, and we did this last week. So you're going to cross multiply. 2 times x is 2x. You're going to multiply the other way. 15 times 4. Oh my, let me get my calculator out. 60. Sorry. Human 2. And then we're going to divide both sides by 2. And the answer is 30. X equals 30. So what we did here is we started with a ratio, okay? And we wrote that ratio as a proportion, which we did last week. Okay, same thing here. I'm going to put an X in the gap, and then I'm going to rewrite it as a proportion. X over 9 equals 7.5 over 13.5. Now, I'm definitely going to need my calculator. All right, we'll cross multiply. X times 13.5, that's 13.5x equals 9 times 7.5. That's 67.5. We're solving for x, so we're going to divide both sides by 13.5. Divide this side by 13.5, and the answer is x equals, let's see, 67.5 divided by 13.5. The answer is 5. So the missing number there was 5, and that would be our final answer. Moving along, a bag contains 12 marbles, 3 blue, 2 green, 5 white, and 2 red. What is the ratio of blue, okay, watch your wording, to, put your colon, white? So let's see, blue is 3, white is 5. We could write it as a fraction. That's one option. We could also write it using a colon, 3, 2, 5. Those are the most common ways. Or we could use the word to. What is the ratio of green to total marbles? Okay, be careful here. This is the total number of marbles. So let's see, there are 2 green and there are 12 total marbles. Well, that can be reduced. You cannot leave that as your final answer because it can be reduced by 2. So your final answer, 2 divided by 2 is 1. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So it's 1 to 6. And then C, what is the ratio of, okay, now this is a good one, non-blue to the total. So we're going to say not blue to the total. Well, not blue means they could be green, white, or red. So let's see, that's 2 plus 5 plus 2. I'm going to write that down. That means we have a total of 9 that are not blue. And then we had a total of 12 marbles. So our answer is going to be 9 to 12, which can be reduced. Divide each term by 3, and your answer will be 3 to 4. Or if you prefer fraction form, you can always write it like this. Okay, I'm going to stop this video because I don't think I'll have time to complete the entire second page. So this will be part 1 of our notes from 4.2.